Hi, I'm Coach Kane from Straight Blast Gym, Portland, Oregon. This is Coach Ella. If you've been watching the SBGU and the international Facebook page, Coach Philippe has been doing some really cool stuff on Armbar. So I kind of wanted to tack on to that and add some stuff that I do that structurally works pretty well and some efficiencies that you can add into your Armbar game. I want to start by showing a postural thing. I'm going to have Ella do this with me, just kind of on the side here. Try this. So lay on your back, and I want you to, we're going to do a bridge, and I want to show you a structurally sound bridge and a structurally weak bridge, and then we'll reverse engineer that from the top. So I'm going to take my leg, I'm going to bring it close to me, and then out like that. And then my shoulders are going to move back to touch the mat like that. And then now when I bridge, like that, I can find that there's a pivot point up on my shoulder there, right there, and it makes a beautiful strong arch. And that works because my shoulder position was great. Because before I did the bridge, my shoulders came back to the mat instead of up there. And then I performed the bridge. Now let's make it weaker. So I'm going to take my leg up and out, and now I'm going to take my shoulders and I'm going to bring them in like I'm trying to make them touch in front. And now I'm going to do that same bridge. And automatically it should feel weaker. And what I notice is on the first bridge, my point was way up high on my shoulder. And on the second one, I can feel my pivot point lower on my back. It's a much weaker bridge. And so that's going to play a really important role in what we're going to do in holding the armbar position. And so let me show you how that works. I'm going to start out on this side here. And so, you know, we're oftentimes talking about connection in jiu-jitsu at Straight Blast Gym and the importance of connection. And connection is going to come into play really well here. And so everybody always knows that you want this shoulder off the mat when you're in armbar position. And so I need to be close underneath that shoulder so that Ella can't get the shoulder to the mat. What people don't know is that getting this shoulder off the mat is also really important because that compresses her shoulders and it really makes her bridge not work. And so right now, she can get the shoulder to the mat. I'm going to put my feet underneath it like that so she can't get that shoulder to the mat. And now if Ella does a bridge towards me, yeah, it becomes a really weak bridge because I'm underneath her shoulders there. And so my foot comes underneath. Cross your feet or not cross your feet, I don't think it really matters. I like to cross my feet because I can pull like that. And can you feel that, Ella? It really sucks on her shoulders there. And so I got her arm here. And now when she tries her bridge, yeah, it's really painful. And so I'm creating a really good crushing on her shoulders there. And it takes most of the fight out. Makes it harder for her to get the near one to the mat. It affects her bridge so that her bridge is not very strong. And so my feet touch up underneath her shoulder here and my legs pull. And so rather than leaving the feet here where they're not doing any work on the shoulder, I'm going to do that right there and then pull. If you really can't stand crossing your feet, you can do it here. I just take this foot and bring it under the shoulder there like that. And my knee squeeze a little bit. And now I've got a ton of great connection to her shoulder girdle. And so I really want to feel like I'm controlling her shoulder line there. All right. So practice that a few times with the partner. See how that feels. You're underneath the shoulder on this side. Your toes and feet are underneath the shoulder on this side. And you're really compressing the shoulders in that kind of direction. And when you do that, it really takes the fight out. Now let's look at positioning. There's three kind of classic positions people use in the armbar here. One is your neutral stance where you're here, upright. Another is fall towards the legs. And then a third is fall towards the head. I always do the fall towards the head one, so I'm going to show you some efficiencies on that side and talk a little bit about why I like to fall toward the head. And let me show you how that works. Ella's arms are functionally strong when her elbow is below her shoulder line. And so from here to here, really strong. If I get her elbow up above her shoulder line, her arm gets much weaker. And so her ability to defend the armbar is actually worse. If I fall towards her legs so that her arms and elbows get closer to her hips, then her arms are actually stronger. I'm putting her in a functionally stronger position. So her arm here is much stronger than her arm here. And that's my reason for falling towards the head, is that it puts her arm in a functionally weak position. So I'm going to come across, get my feet underneath, and if I start here, I'm going to switch my arms out here like that. Place this hand on the mat, and then I'm just going to lean this way. And now you can see that her elbow is above her shoulders right there. And so that makes her arm really weak. And so if I'm underneath her shoulder here and I'm squeezing like that, her ability to upa into me, can you upa into me? Not so much. We'll look at the Hitch-Hiker Escape and how to defend that from here in a bit. But it puts me in a really good spot. My knees are squeezing, so there's no space there. Now, when I do that, all right, what always happens is the top person will grab here to defend. And so let's take a look at how we might work that. And so I'm gonna get my position here, get up under her shoulders, squeeze my knees like that, switch my grips, and come to here. She's gonna grab like that. I don't like releasing my feet to go to her arms, because when I do that, I'm gonna release her shoulders. And so I wanna keep her shoulders bound. I'm gonna use this hand, and I'm gonna slide it in and go palm up like that. And what's really critical is that I attack her joint right at the wrist here, or at the spot where it's tied. I don't wanna be attacking here or here or here. I wanna go here. So my hand slides in right at that joint, palm up, and then I'm gonna fall to the mat in this direction and then pull, and it will pop right off. And then I can go to the armbar. So get underneath those shoulders. Got my position here. She grabs her wrist. I'm gonna go palm up like that, fall this way, and then break. And then you can finish the armbar like that. I find that works really well against that grab there, even on strong guys, because when you pull their arm over their head, they're already functionally weak. This is a much harder to hold than this. And so once you bring them up there, they're already in a spot. And so try that with your partner, the palm up, the elbow in, and make sure that you're going against that joint. So right where they're grabbing is where you want to be applying the pressure. A little bit of pull, and it will pop right off. Give that a try. All right, next up. So the next thing I want to look at is when you're in that position and you fall towards the head, a really common thing that happens is people will push that leg over. And it's one of the reasons people don't fall towards the head, is because their leg gets pushed over. And so I fall this way, Ella takes my leg and shoves it, yeah, like that, there. And then, you know, if you're not thinking about it right, the race is on, Ella's trying to come up, I'm trying to get my leg back over, I can't get my leg out, and then I get screwed there. And so the mistake everybody makes is they focus on this leg instead of this leg. Once she comes over the top of this leg, it's done, and I can no longer use it to hold her head and shoulders down. I've just got to switch legs. And so I'll show you what that looks like. And so I get my position, I'm under her shoulders, I fall this way, she times it, she shoves my leg down, there, yep. She can even come on top of it, there, yeah. Now I'm just gonna focus on this leg so it comes over like that. And so I'm really facing this direction, I'm covering her head with my leg, and so now if she tries to bridge and get her head to the mat, she can't really do it there. It's not really possible. And once I get here, it's gonna be easy for me to slip that one out and bring it back over. And so watch again, I'm gonna fall, she's gonna shove my leg over, come on top. This one is gonna come here and cover. And I have to get this hip really high off the mat like that, and then squeeze my knees together. Everything works really great here. She can't really come up, she can't bridge, try to bridge, because I'm heavy on her body. Yeah, now I can kick that out and bring it back over. That works really well on that. And if you just bring that leg over and cover the face with it, And it's really important that when you cover, you turn your hip like that, because if you're here, you're not going to be heavy. If you're here, I can apply all of my weight into it so that the bridge won't work. And so this is the important part. And it also helps you to free that leg like that. If you're here, it's harder to free the leg, and I'm not heavy, even though my leg is covering. And so cover and then extend your hip like that, and you should be in really good shape. Use that all the time in that scenario when I fall to the head, because that's a really common thing that people do. All right. Let's do another thing. Sometimes the hitchhiker happens from here. And so Ella's going to start walking that direction. Yeah, and then turn over. Because I've functionally sort of made that open. When I fall this way, she's got all this space here to kind of walk into. And she can also hitchhiker her thumb there in the position that she wants. And so one of the mistakes people make when somebody tries to hitchhiker here, go ahead, is they stay upright and they try to use this leg here to hold them in. But if she's strong, she's just going to keep going and kind of walk right through that. So when you fall towards the head, a really easy defense on the hitchhiker is just to lay to your back and then pull on the hitchhiker arm. And so I'll show you what that looks like as Ella starts to go. Go. She can't finish. My elbow is here locked in. Can you finish? She's completely locked in, and then I can finish the arm bar there. So all I did was fall to my back and then pull and staple that arm. Works like a charm on anybody that hitchhikers. I just always do that, and I use their hitchhiker to finish the arm bar. So I'm underneath her shoulder. I got this here. She starts to hitchhiker there, and then it becomes a tap. And so since I've adopted that, it's worked really well, and the Hitch-Hiker Escape just doesn't work from that position anymore. So let's do a quick wrap-up review, and then you can try this stuff on your own. Shoulder compression and connection. If Ella can get this shoulder to the mat, it allows her to create space to get this shoulder to the mat. It also allows her to still build a functional bridge structure that I have to fight. So I'll take this foot, bring it under the shoulder, and I like putting this one on top to squeeze it in. So I got a really firm bite on it. And you can see how that shoulder is no way it's getting to the mat, and her shoulders are hunched in a really bad kind of structural posture. And then lean this way with my knee squeezed like this. And if I'm doing it right, there should be no way for her to shove this leg over my head. Can you shove that leg over your head? It's really not. But if her timing is great, or if I find my leg getting loose and lazy, she might shove that over my head. She might even get her head over the top. When she does that, I need to get heavy on her. And the way to get heavier on her head is to cover it and then extend my hip like that. And then now, if she tries to bridge, she tries to sit up, she can't do either one. And so that covering really helps. And notice that by turning and extending like that, I'm able to get a lot of weight on her body. That allows me just to slide that one out and then recover and then come back to my position like that. And so that works really well. All right, I'm gonna get underneath her shoulder, compress that. I'm gonna fall to the side here. She's gonna grab her own arm. Yeah, like that. That's really common. So I'm gonna make sure that her shoulder is above her elbow is above her shoulder line, because that makes her arm structurally weak. And then I'm gonna tie my hand in, palm up, right at the knot, right there. And then I'm gonna pull my hand towards my face. It's gonna break that open, pivot, and armbar. All right, and then lastly, the Hitch-Hiker Escape from here. As she starts to go for the hitchhiker, I'm gonna fall back and pull like that. And then my elbow is in here, and then you can use that just to finish the armbar. All right, that's it. Give it a try and let us know how it goes.